Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the special meeting of Council, Wednesday the 30th of July 2025, commencing at 5:30. Kaya Nala Karak Nunga Khan Karak Ninja Buja. We acknowledge the Noongar people as the traditional custodians of the land in which we meet. Announcements by the President. I'd just like to thank councillors for the extensive work that they have done on this year's budget. We know that we have taken the general consensus around town into consideration, and also the increase in the services that we know that the Shire are now having to undertake, with the expectations of community. Attendance apologies. A couple.
Thank you, Madam President. We have apologies from Councillor Cliff Winfield and Councillor Paul Omaday.
Thank you. And approved leave of absence. We have nil. Declarations of interest.
Thank you, Madam President. I have one declaration of financial interest from Councillor Ivey in relation to the adoption of the annual budget, as she receives payment for work done for Crowea Village, Southern Forest Arts and Warren Catchments Council. And these organisations have applied for grants this year. Also have an impartiality interest from Councillor Mylan, again in relation to the agenda item to do with the budget, as he is the interest is he's a member of the Manjimup Country Club, the Dean Mill Workers Club and the Manjimup Repertory Club, and they are applying for grants this year as well. And also have an impartiality interest from Councillor Wilcox, again on the same agenda item to do with community grants, as she is a committee member of some of the groups which are requesting grants.
Thank you. Public question time, 5.1 public question time. We have nil. Presentation, 6.1 deputations. There are nil. Okay, officers' reports. Office of the CEO, 7.1.1, proposed adoption of the 2025-26 annual budget. Someone like to move it? Councillor Ivey.
I move as per the officer's recommendation.
Oh, financial interest.
I move budget as per officer's recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor De Campo.
No, it's Councillor Moon.
Alternative?
Seconder? Councillor Darren? Councillor De Campo, did you want to speak to the item?
Do I get to move my alternative now?
We need to, yeah.
I did say alternative.
You can move.
Can you give me some guidance, please?
Yeah, Madam President, would you like me to?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Councillor Mylan, yes,
Best
please
way
move
of
your
doing
amendment.
Okay. I like to move. It's called an alternative on the sheet I got. I thought it was an amendment, but I'd like to move the following: to adopt the 2025-26 annual budget as tabled, as per officer's recommendation, with the removal of point 4 from the officer's recommendation, and also with the exception of the following items: 2025-2026 community grants.
Thank you. Seconder? Thank you, Councillor Ventris. Councillor Mylan, did you want to speak to the amendment?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Point 4 of the officer's recommendation says, direct the Chief Executive Officer to undertake a review of Policy 1.12, councillor meeting fees and reimbursement of expenses, to reflect the movement of fees paid from the 50th percentile to the 60th percentile of the Salaries and Allowances Act 1975, 2025 Tribunal determination. I wish to only really speak at this point about my alternative and not address the first parts of the budget motion. Councillor meeting fees and allowances are set by council policy, in our case policy 1.12. This policy rightly makes reference to the determinations made by the Salary and Allowances Tribunal under the Salary and Allowances Act of 1975. Successive determinations make reference to the importance of compensating councillors for their time and dedication and attracting a diverse range of the population to nominate for election. Our policy 1.12 is due for review shortly, and that review will include, as it should, a full report to Council that takes into consideration the most recent SAT determination, which takes effect from the 1st of July 2025. My alternative, which seeks to remove point 4, is not about whether or not there should be a movement between percentiles, and therefore a change to the way we calculate remuneration for elected members, but it is about process. Point 4 of the motion directs the CEO to review and effectively alter the policy. Conflating policy review and changes within the budget approval process, in my opinion, lacks scrutiny, accountability, and the opportunity for informed debate in the chamber. There are other aspects of the policy in relation to President and Deputy President allowances that are not clear and will also need to be addressed in a proper review of Policy 1.12. There is no need to direct the CEO to commence this process, and it is a requirement of our own policy. It will happen regardless. I also acknowledge that it is essential to encourage a range of residents to become councillors, not just retirees, as some people have suggested to me. In addition to managing their commitments around significant meeting and other demands of council, some councillors have to seek leave from their workplace and find childcare, and such barriers should not be an impediment to becoming an elected member. Councillor meeting fees go some way to addressing this. I know that the residents of our Shire who voted for me would expect me to speak on their behalf to ensure that policies are reviewed and altered via a thorough council report and debated in the chamber. And I urge you to support this alternative motion, which seeks to have any changes to policy addressed through the normal channels of reports and debate. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Mylan. Councillor Ventris?
I will speak, but apologies, but I failed to attend some of the budget process, and I was quite comfortable to accept the decision or the direction that's in front of us. But to me, after coming back, it appears there's not a clear consensus on this one, so I'm happy to see the budget go through. I will just say that a consensus is not a decision of council, so it's not binding on fellow councillors to accept a consensus that's done in the process. And because there appears to be, just simply by the moving of this, I think there's not a lot to be lost. I'm trying to catch it on the run a bit here. We've obviously a lot of work being done in the budget process. I haven't heard any arguments against what's in the budget, and there's always argument about what should and shouldn't be in the budget. But we've come to a point where I think there's, I feel as if there's everyone's on board. This just seems to be a little bit of an outlier, and it'd be a pity to sort of take this through when there's so much consensus on the other, and already been outlined by the Deputy President that this will all be held in review. The other thing I think in my mind is, as long as there's a budget allowance in the budget, and my understanding there is a budget allowance for change, and that we won't be restricted going forward in setting that policy. I'd like to also think that I speak to some degree impartially, given the fact that I most probably won't be a beneficiary and I have no financial conflict of interest in such matters going forward. But yeah, look, if there can be a good discussion on the policy, and I think it's important to get the policy right. And I think I did read some of the stuff, and in general I'm in agreement with a lot of the comments that have been made, but I'd just like to see it go through. Yeah, it's a unanimous decision and form of policy that'll be more of a long-term thing as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ventris. Any speakers against? Question, Councillor Ivey?
Just as a procedural motion, because we were going to split the budget approval into two parts, so how do we do that? Or do you want me to just leave the room for the whole thing now?
So this here, we've got part A, but then there's community grants in there as well, but then we address it down here.
Sorry. Would the Director of Business Services maybe provide a little bit of advice in terms of the process? Because I'm a little bit lost as well.
So, historically, what we've done is present our budget with the full adoption, and then we have an amendment which allows us to then recognise those financial interests. So at this point, we've voted on the officer recommendation, and we've got an amendment of Part A that Councillor Mylan's put forward. So I'm on the assumption if that is won, then we'd move to point B, where Councillor Ivey would then step out.
Madam President, may I take this?
Hang on, no, wait.
Don't withdraw point B. If this gets through, we're fine. If it doesn't go through, then we need to move a second amendment to bring in the part B, which then Councillor Ivey.
That's right,
Yes.
So we need to leave it as is for now.
as is. Against a question? Councillor Darren?
My question is, will this amendment actually talk? I'm going to have to explain myself a little bit. We're talking about that we're going to remove this because it will, point 4, because there will be a process that isn't done the way that it should be done. Is that actually the case? If we leave point 4 in here, is the process that Councillor Ventris and Councillor Mylan speaking about still going to be done in the same way? Are we actually changing anything?
Mr CEO?
Thank you, Madam President. Councillors, regardless of whether item 4 is approved or not, I'm bringing the policy back to Council next month for review in any case.
And for debate?
Yes, yeah, as an agenda item, yes, yes.
Speakers against?
Yeah, I'll speak against the amendment. And I do understand the sentiment of the amendment, but firstly, can I congratulate actually staff, because we're not, we sit around here, talk about our wish list and what we'd like to do, and but you guys put it all together in the background, and I think it's a mammoth task, and for what are we, a $33 odd million budget. So first of all, congratulations, Greg, on getting it to this point, and quite early, I believe. Fingers crossed, quite early. I think if we did this for every part of the budget, excuse me, a little bit of nut went flying, we could bring amendments for any part of the budget we want to increase or decrease spending in relation to policy. This is about, and it's not hiding anything, I understand that, it's not about transparency, because we've been very transparent. The money for the increase is in the budget, it just doesn't fit the policy. And a direction to the CEO to review the policy with a percentile increase fits what the discussion in pre-budget deliberation was, essentially. To come back then and to debate it, which is what will happen in any case, although the policy will come at the 60 percentile, because that's what the original motion, recommended motion was, gives clear direction to the CEO to do that. And then there are some other issues around, the deputy's percentage and various other things that we can debate as a part of that policy review, because the policy has to be reviewed anyway. I think it's out of date as it is. I mean, this just brings it forward potentially. So I think we need to just move forward with the fact that, if we wanted to review every policy, or if we wanted to review every decision of a group of people and a consensus that we've made, and you're right, Councillor of Interest, you weren't here, so I don't value an opinion from you on this actually, and I say that with the best meaning of heart, of course, but you weren't here for these deliberations, and they were deliberated about 3 to 4 times, and I think many times external to the meeting. I think Mr Lockwood has spent countless hours over the last week or so deliberating over this. Ultimately, we make the decision. We'll make it now, or we'll make it in August. So what is the difference? There are some machinations of the policy that we can talk about in August, but I think we need to attract the best people to council. And we actually have the best people now, but we have 6 of us. that are up. And I'm not sure that anyone's noticed, but I'm not very good at winning elections, so I'm not sure I'll be back here in November. I do hope I will be. But at the minimum, there's 4 new councillors that are going to be elected to this council. We need to give them an incentive. And each year that we have, we don't appoint a CEO a year, we're not Bridgetown. But each time we appoint a CEO, we always talk about the remuneration package and where we are in the bar of the remuneration package. And if we are too low, we won't get the quality we need. So I'm not sure how we got you, Ben, but we got you in any case. But we always get it up a little bit to be able to be competitive. And we have been competitive, and we've got a great bunch of staff right now. And we need to make sure that the community knows that this isn't a retirees' village. I think words like, I'm not a self-funded retiree, came out at the last meeting because it's costly. I've got a meeting on Monday, meeting tomorrow, meeting today, and I had a couple of meetings on Monday with next Monday and this Monday just gone. So we all work in our own ways for council in a different and varying degree. I had somebody come up to me in Coles and say, I want to run for council, but I need to know that I can afford to do it because I've got to give time up in my job. And so we need to ensure that as a board of directors on around a $33 or $34 million budget. Oh, okay. Carry forwards, okay. So 56 including carry forwards. You've got a big job this year, Catherine. 56 million including carry forwards. We don't want a mineral resources situation going on here. We want the best people we can sitting over policy decisions and various other things, because that's what we do. And I don't think it matters that we give an indication to the CEO that we want the policy reviewed as a matter of priority. That's all this is doing. The outcome will be the same. So be transparent today, vote the amendment down, vote the budget through, and let's get on with the rest of the evening. So I commend not voting for the amendment.
Any speakers for the amendment? Any other speakers? Did you want to close, Councillor Marlin?
Perhaps I haven't made my point clear, but I'm not trying to have the debate here about what the level of remuneration should be. I'm having a debate about when that should be advertised and discussed, and to have it come through. And I know, I take Councillor De Campo's point that it shouldn't be, it'll have to come back for a debate anyway. However, it was Councillor De Campo who, when I spoke to him about altering, because we've got a number of problems. So I didn't want to really go on about all of the details. I've got pages of what the sums will actually look like and the percentage increases and
Point of order.
And the flow on from it.
Can't bring you the information.
You've just got to summarise. Thank you.
So my point is that the people that I represent, and we all represent, I think if we were going to talk about, it's a particularly sensitive issue because it deals with our own remuneration. And when we're talking about that, I'm not advocating whether it should be, what percentile we should be at. But what I'm advocating is that if we're going to discuss a policy about how councillors and president allowances and vice president allowances are going to be altered, then it should be really made clear as an agenda item so that other constituents know that we're really doing this. The limited little space in here I don't think really gives due to it. So I'm really speaking on behalf of a process, which means that we make it really clear about we're going to debate this, not about whether people deserve money or more money or less money or attracting people. It's entirely about being upfront about what we're discussing with a proper officer's report about all of the implications. And I'm not, as I said, I'm not one way or the other at this point of the debate. Thank you very much. I commend you to just, I'll support the rest of the budget, right? And I would like to reiterate my great thanks for the amount of work that goes into it, because it's a big, big job. Okay, but on this one, in terms of Councillor De Campo's suggestion that we go back and, if we have to re-debate all these things, but there's not many that I noticed that we have to direct the CEO to change the policy on. This is the only one that's come out that says we have to now direct the CEO to change the policy. All of the other ones they're not there. So that's the only one that I'm talking about. And as I said, the money's there. We can debate it properly when we need to. Thanks.
Question?
Can I have a question? Yes. Mr CEO, if we were to vote this amendment down and the policy was to come to a future meeting, let's say August, are we still able to debate the policy, even at the 60th percentile?
Mr CEO?
Thank you, Madam President. Councillor De Campo, do you mean debate tonight or?
No, so at a future meeting when the policy does come back,
Yes, yeah.
at the 60th, if this amendment is voted down and we pass the budget as per officer's recommendation with a point 4 saying that we direct the CEO to review the councillor enumeration, lots of words, to the 50th to the 60th percentile, the policy will come back at the 60th percentile, but we still have an opportunity to debate that.
Correct.
We still have an opportunity for the public to see that we are debating it and make that informed decision, yes?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, councillors. Can I please have votes for the amendment? And against? Lost 5-2. Councillor Darren?
Could I please move an amendment to the officer's recommendation exempting the 25-26 community grants program?
Thank you. Seconder?
Yes, thank you.
Thanks.
No. Oh, yeah, I'll second that, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, you have to stand up to do that. Did you want to speak to Councillor Darren?
Speak to the amendment.
Thank you.
Just to fix up the error we made in the original motion.
Thank you. Seconder? Anyone against it? Can we put that to? Question?
How do we then bring the community grants back in? Can we just make the amendment that there is a Part B for the community grants program, as we had written?
So, yeah. Mr Lockwood, Director of Business?
My recommendation would be to move the amendment per the item that's in the red folders, which makes the adoption a Part A and a Part B. At present, we've kind of got a Part A.
Yeah.
So we need to move the budget with the exception of.
So the last part of that Part A is also with the exception of the following items, which is a 25-26 community grants program.
So what process do you want us to follow then? Withdraw to? But I can't, because I have to do an amendment. I can't, or I can move an alternative. Can I move? No.
I'm a bit lost. I'm looking to the director to help me on this one.
I could just leave the rest of the whole thing. Just the way that was moved in, and take the community grants program out of it.
Completely out of it.
Yeah.
Jane, just move the whole budget.
Yeah,
So what do we need to do next then?
So the vote did accept the officer's recommendation with the amendment.
Right, okay. So we need to do it with the officer's recommendation, with the addition of that amendment.
To add in a second.
The Part A.
So I've already done Part A, so I need to add to my amendment that we also introduce a Part B.
I'd like to amend my amendment.
Thank you.
So my amendment is that Part A, we adopt the 25-26 annual budget as tabled in the previous motions as per the officer's recommendation, with the exception of the following item, 25-26 community grants program, and...
Sorry, then you pause. Then we vote.
Yes. Yep.
Vote on that amendment.
Yep. So vote on Part 1. No, because this is with the exception of the following items. 25, 26 community grants, and then we do part B, which is the community grants, which is when Councillor Ivey leaves the room.
We need a second.
We need a seconder. Councillor De Campo, Councillor Darren. Councillor De Campo, do you want to speak?
Given this is going to, so I actually seek some clarification now, which is very unusual, I've got to say, on process. This is an amendment,
Yes,
so this becomes a substantive motion.
yes.
Right.
And if we vote this in as the substantive, we need to introduce another amendment to bring in part B. Because if we vote on the amended motion.
Because we've
that's-
only excluded it.
So I'm thinking we need to vote down the motion, but before we vote down the motion, we need to foreshadow this and bring on the motion.
Because by doing this, we're adopting the budget without the community grants, so we haven't actually adopted the community grants. So then we need a separate motion.
Greg?
Or we could, matters of urgent nature, as a result of the, as of the meeting. Bring in-
Decision of the meeting.
Bring in community grants, can we do that?
Yep.
So this is a process that we've used every year where we've voted our Part A, and that means then the budget is fully adopted with the exception of, and then the person or persons with any financial interests or proximity interests can leave the room for the Part B portion of. So then just the community grants is then voted in as part of the budget.
But we have already moved a motion for the whole thing, so we can only make an amendment. So if we make this the amendment, then vote on it, there is no opportunity for us to talk about the grants because
Community
the motion
grants.
is then finished.
Yeah.
We've resolved it.
Yeah.
Can I withdraw my original motion to move as per officer's recommendation? Damn it.
Sorry, no, we can't because we've had an
already had the
amendment
amendment.
on it and against. So I'm just looking to the director to help, to give some direction on what the steps are here to fix this.
Or we just let Wendy leave the room.
No, that doesn't.
No, you don't have process.
Just my comment on that would be, we are compelled to vote on those things that we're entitled to, that we have to vote on. You can't abstain. And so Wendy should be seen to be supporting so Councillor Ivey, should be seen to be supporting the budget, which is the most important part of the year's decision making, and only that section. So we've done this before. So hold on. We've done this before. A, B, C, D, and people leave the room for that section. I'm not advocating. We've accommodated before where every councillor supported the budget except for the bit that they've got a financial conflict of interest. So I think we should take the direction from the director and do it like we've done it every other year.
No, we can't. We have already moved.
Who says?
the motion.
You say.
We have already moved the motion. The officer's recommendation has already been moved. We can only amend it or have an alternative.
I think I have a solution.
Thank you. Mr CEO.
Thank you. So, just to recap for everybody. Councillor De Campo moved the officer's recommendation. Councillor Darren seconded.
Yep.
Councillor Mylan put an amendment to remove item 4. That was lost, debated and lost.
Yep.
So we're now back to the substantive motion, which is the officer's recommendation. Councillor Darren has moved an amendment.
Yep.
Has moved an amendment to adopt the budget with the removal of the community grants program. So that replaces everything here, a page and a half. I don't think you can do that because you need to adopt all of these elements. So maybe I don't have a solution.
Can I have a question?
Yeah.
If Councillor Ivey leaves the room, do we have an absolute majority still?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just leave the room.
I withdraw my amendment.
Amendment. So it's just the officer's recommendation. Thank you, Councillor Ivey. Okay, we're back to the full officer's recommendation, which was moved by Councillor De Campo. Correct. Is that right? Yep. Seconded by Councillor Darren. Councillor De Campo, did you want to speak to the recommendation?
Well, yes, thank you, Madam President. And what a night it has been so far. Those listening and watching, you've had a show and a half tonight. But can I just congratulate you again, all staff actually. We've got a mammoth task ahead of us next year, and we may not be here, some of us, as I've said before. Our Director of Infrastructure Services has got a massive carry forward in the budget, as we've just discussed, and there are big shoes to fill from the previous director. So good luck, Director of Infrastructure Services, Director of Community Services. We've got a big challenge ahead of us in that sector going forward this year. And of course, in planning and finance, you've always got a challenge going into budget, but congratulations this year, Greg. And Mr CEO, pulling the whole team together, I thank you again. Budget is always a little bit difficult. I don't know why. It just seems to not quite flow as it should, doesn't it? But we get there in the end. So I commend the motion to you and thank you all for your efforts again. And I do hope I'm here for the 25-26 budget, which might not be as difficult to get through. Thank you. I commend the motion to you.
Councillor Darren. Are there any speakers against? Are there any others?
Yeah, I'd just like to speak. I'm still not confident of the fact that we've got the most this is the biggest decision of the year, really, the budget. I wasn't part of the process, and I've already said that. And yet someone that was part of that process is not in the room voting for what's really quite substantial. So I'm still not confident. I'm uncomfortable. I'd like to state that I'm uncomfortable voting for this motion, given that we have one councillor absent from the room. We've got two councillors absent from the meeting. There's three councillors. We face the situation where the President's about to put this motion, and if Councillor Moylan and Councillor Ventress were to stick to their original alternative motion, the budget would fail. So we've ended up in a situation where we could revert back to the situation where Councillor Moylan, Councillor Ventress could cause the budget to fail, and that's not going to look good either. So I think it's in a difficult position, and I think that the budget should be voted on by Councillor Ivey, and I'm not sure how we quite ended up in this position, but I don't want to see the budget fail, and I'll be voting for the budget, but I'm not comfortable that it's my decision with 1, 2, 3 people absent from the room, and the fact that I wasn't part of that process at my own fault. But I'd just like to state that, but I will be supporting the budget because there's a need to do so.
Thank you, Councillor Ventress. Thank you.
I'd like to speak in favour of the officer's recommendation and won't be voting against it because my amendment wasn't carried. As I said before, it was a process thing, and I can understand we're going to be reviewing point 4 at some point in time. I'm not happy with the look of it, but like all of us, we don't agree with everything that's in the budget. There are some things that we would prefer to be done differently, or to be allocated funds in different ways. But overall, when I've been involved in the process, it has been a bit disjointed in terms of getting together, but I think with the groups, with all of us being able to be in the same room from that point of view. But it has been a consultative process with the officers and councillors, and I see no reason to vote it down because of one particular thing. Thank you.
Are there any other speakers? Councillor De Campo, did you want to close?
Why not? Look, thank you. I take some of the points that councillors of interest and Muller have made. I think some councillors, by the way, operate with only 5 anyway, so that's not a major issue. I don't think this budget process or this part of the process should be about us. It's actually about those who put the budget together. And again, we've had a great team of people that have brought us the information. There are things in the budget we all potentially have that we don't like, and there are things in the budget that we like. There are always areas of unmet need, and there are seemingly areas that get a lot of money pumped into them. So we'll never all be happy in relation to that part of the budget. But I think the consensus is that we've come up with a good budget with a rate rise that is competitive, although inflation went down again today. So next year's going to be a problem, but it's competitive with our neighbours. And if you look at our neighbours, by the way, and adopting a budget reflects on how an organisation is going at the time, the health of the organisation. If you look at our neighbours, you know, today in the paper there's a story about a $365,000 CEO's remuneration and redundancy, and an issue about another CEO in a neighbouring council. Apparently the CEO of Capel's gone AWOL and Busselton's just resigned. So we have a very, very healthy, cohesive team that is stable and solid, and I think from that we can build on the foundations we already had well into the future. And this year is going to be an exciting year, so just watch the space. Congratulations to the staff, and I commend the motion to you.
Thank you. Can we put it to the vote, please, councillors? All those in favour? And against, carried 6-0. Welcome back, Councillor Ivey. Uh, 9.2.1, proposed restaurant kitchen sublease for the Pemberton Community Sports Club. Councillor Ventris.
I'd like to move officer's recommendation.
Is there a seconder? Councillor De Campo. Councillor Ventris, did you want to speak to the motion? Councillor De Campo. Are there any other speakers? Can we put it to the vote, please, councillors? All those in favour? Carried 6-0. Thank you. Oh, 7-0, sorry. That's how good my... That's because Wendy's back in. Excellent. There being no further business to discuss, I wish to thank those in attendance and close the meeting at 6:07. Thank you very much.
If anyone's interested, Destination WA is filming at the Gateway tonight. If you'd like to be a part of a wonderful show showcasing many different regions of Australia.